out to It's All Been Done Radio Hour. We have the third of our story roundtables this week. It is Daniel Kravitz's Chosen One. We're talking volumes 1 and 2 with all of the lead performers in that segment. We hope you enjoy it. Before we get to that, I would like to shout out Circle 270 Media, who this podcast is a part of, and MadLab Theater, our host site. You just missed, or hopefully you didn't miss, our anniversary show yesterday. But we have another big show coming up on Saturday, August 10th at 5 p.m. It's our 50th live show. And while it's not as grand in scheme as the anniversary show, we have some very, very special things. For instance, you'll finally find out why Ratcliffe hates Woosley so much. So you're going to want to come to that. There's also a great jam-packed universe journey and very special episode of the Top Notch Tangler, plus a fourth story, and I'm not going to tell you what's what, but I will tell you one main character will be leaving in that show. So it's going to be a big one. It's going to be an important one. I hope you can make it out to see it. We want to thank It's All Been Done Presents, our parent network of podcast, written work, video series, and more. It's All Been Written is our annual short story contest, and right now we're releasing the winners at IABDpresents.com, so you can read the stories that were chosen by our panel of judges as the best that were turned in this year. We'll be making an audio adaptation of the grand prize winner, and pretty soon we'll be pulling the stories off of our website and just selling them as a paperback and ebook collection. So if you want to check them out for free, I recommend you get over to IABDpresents.com very, very soon. And now, here is It's All Been Done Radio Hour. Welcome out to our second story roundtable. We previously did The Scary Dead, which some of you participated in, and now we're doing Daniel Kravitz's Chosen One, volumes 1 and 2. We have a very small group right now that's going to grow as we start talking. But we have Wendy Parks, who played Abby Reynolds.
Hello!
Ryan Yohe, Grezit the Green.
Hi!
Joe Morales, who was Alexis Augustus Armentrout.
Hello.
I shouldn't say was
Is, yes.
Armentrout.
Oh!
No, by the time this airs, volume 2 will be over.
Oh,
She's still
yeah.
alive.
Okay, yeah.
And Amanda Iman, who played Regina.
Hello.
So we'll be joined by Nathan, Daniel, Shane, Rufus, and Seamus Josh as we go on. But we're just going to start out talking about the segment itself. So Wendy, you're the only one sitting here right now that was in the first episode. What did you think at the beginning of the sketch about what it was or what you might get to do?
I mean, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I certainly didn't think I was going to be stabbing anybody by the end of it.
2 years later, or
Right.
3 years later.
Right, but I think as the story progressed, it got more and more exciting. You know, who's Daniel going to meet, and how jerky is he going to be about it. But
when you were first offered the role of Abby, what did you think it would entail? What did you think of the character initially?
Well, I just assumed I was going to be playing somebody that's kind of like myself. I think that's what you told me. You said, don't worry about it, just be yourself when you play the role. So it was really easy to jump into that one.
Yeah, we brought you into, because it's hard to stick just anybody up there with Nathan and
Right, yeah, you did tell me no one else could handle him like I could.
No, we knew you already could.
We all try our best.
We are joined by Seamus Talty, who plays Josh. You gonna say hi? Point it this way. You guys just be louder over here. So we got started early on in, what was it, the second episode? We met Grezit the Green. Yohe, that was a one episode part, wasn't it, originally?
It was.
Did you have any hopes that he would return, or did you play him very much as like, I'm just gonna go in there and do the best I can, and this will be a fun one trip?
Well, I believe I was instructed or told that by going for a guest role, you'll probably just be a one-off and get killed off, but that'll give you an opportunity to maybe come back in a different medium.
Sure.
Boy, was I wrong.
Where would we be without Grezit? I can't imagine it being just like a one-show deal.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Daniel Kravitz without Grezit the Green.
Right.
It's totally not.
I totally agree with all of you, and yet Grezit was not part of the makeup at the beginning of the segment. We're joined by Shane Stefanchik, who plays Rufus.
Good day to you all.
So we're talking about Grezit joining the group. Yeah, that was a one-off character, and the line about the beheading doesn't kill everything, I just thought was a funny line. It was not an out to bring you back. Thankfully, it was also an out to bring you back because I think when you did your episode, it really clicked for me that we could have this other energy that would clash with Daniel. Because Daniel didn't like Rufus, but we knew they were going to get past it pretty quickly. Did you feel like an outsider coming in?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the nature of that character is very much like, no one wants him around, although Abby seemed to like him at first.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Nathan and Wendy knew each other very well.
Right.
And you just met them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So did that help contribute to...
Yeah, a little bit. 'Cause you guys are, joking, laughing like, hi, I'm here too.
No, I'd rather be with you guys.
So then, we got these 4 together, and then also, I think it was episode 5, we added Regina into the mix in season 1.
Was it that early?
I believe, episode 5 was called Regina.
Oh.
So
Technically, I had like a one-word
You
cameo
did, in the
episode
previous
4.
episode.
I said, hello.
yes, we teased.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Regina was obviously brought in because you can't get Daniel and Abby together too quickly, so let's derail them with this love interest.
Yeah, I didn't like you from the start.
Bitch.
Right?
And I don't remember, did we tell you she was evil at the beginning?
You did.
Yeah, I thought so. That character we always knew would be a one...
Wait, Jim, you're not very good at secrets.
No, I'm not. So Regina came in. How did you approach joining a group that at that point seemed to already kind of be established? You were the new kid coming in.
I guess I approached it as she was there to fuck things up. Like, whether it was evil undertone or not, like, even if it was just she was there to pursue Daniel sexually, like, she was there to fuck things up. Like, she wanted to mess with everyone. And
she did.
Yeah, she did.
For those of you that maybe weren't privy on the secret, did you have any hint that Regina was a bad guy early on?
I mean, come on, her name is Regina.
Yeah, and I
Sounds
feel like, I don't know, besides Rufus, since he was the mentor, I feel like anytime it's a British person, there's just a stereotype that they are evil.
Even though she was related to Rufus.
Exactly, yeah, but it's still, I don't know, I had a hunch. Your character said a lot of just things that were just like, that's evil. That's not nice.
I mean, I tried to play her with
Yeah.
an undertone without being too obvious.
Well, and there were a few times I know Amanda said, Jim, if you don't change this line, you're giving it away.
Yes, I did. I was like, this will telegraph it like she is evil.
I think the closest maybe we telegraphed it was in the Wanda the Witch episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're kind of obvious here, but then we're not going to talk about it for 3 episodes.
Well,
so.
and I remember we had to be, for the live show, really careful with the blocking and like whether I was looking at her or not and things like that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Grezit called it. That she
Nailed it.
Grezit never liked her.
but then he got excited about all the evil things and blood and gore that she also knew all about. So
Grezit is an interesting character because he, when we met him, was murdering innocent people. And then he was kept in a cage for quite a while.
the doggy cage.
And then even though he's been graduated out of the cage, it feels like Daniel still has to rein him in sometimes. And we almost forget just how vicious he is until he wants to rip people apart and Daniel has to hold him back. Do you think Grezit's changed much since joining the group, or do you think if Daniel wasn't holding him back, he would immediately revert to total monster?
I would say I feel that Grezit has found a lot of human-like things that he really enjoys, as well as human-like
Ice
cream being one of them, and then realizing that he had some human friends, including his bestest friend, Abby Reynolds. I think, so as I was saying, Abby is definitely a pivotal figure, I think, that kind of helped bring Grezit to a bit of an understanding of Daniel as well as Rufus and just people in general. So I think that as long as Abby stays safe, I think Grezit will be able to kind of keep himself in check.
Interesting. I like that. That insight of Abby it's not Daniel holding him back, it's Abby that's keeping him in check.
I think it's kind of like she gave him a spark of humanity, a spark of friendship and love, something that he had only ever attributed to Mr. Smashy or his partner. So
Felchi,
yeah.
Felchi.
So when she finally, when they finally became friends, that was that was the awakening moment for Gresset of like kindness. Though he is still that evil monster and wants to shred everybody apart, and then goes on tirades of.
Now it's just the bad guys he wants to
Right,
shred
now
apart.
it's just right.
Yeah. So, early in season 1, we met Josh Wallace as a one-off character.
Yeah.
What did you think of that character, Seamus, when you first brought him in to the mix?
I was kind of unsure of exactly what Josh's underlying personality traits would come through. Doing the act that he did, to me, spoke volumes of someone that has the wherewithal to be that kind of devious, to put everybody underneath a spell, but at the same time kind-hearted enough to realize the error of his way and realizing that that's not exactly what he wanted. He was just he misled himself, or was misguided in his notion. So it was, I always felt that he was going to be forceful, and then in turn it became this very subdued, this very mellow, shy, kind of guy.
Do you attribute that to Abby? The way Gresset attributes some of his character development to Abby? Or do you think it was other members of the group that rubbed off on him?
Honestly, I think it was just him. I think it was the situation he put himself in, and then maybe a little bit of the way that he felt for Abby, not necessarily Abby herself. That changed his mind. It was him. So
his delusions were shattered.
Yeah.
What do you think about Josh and the Christmas caroling, singing about finally finding a place with a group of friends? Do you think maybe integrating into the group
absolutely
also kind of helped give that spark of extra, bring his personality out?
Absolutely, yeah. In the very, very beginning, no. But as he, kind of like Gresset, as he grew with them, yeah, absolutely.
Why do you think he stayed around like a stalker throughout Volume 1, even though we didn't see him?
Oh, dude, he's totally a stalker. Like I said, that's just his person. That's part of his personality.
Yeah.
Everybody has dual traits, and that's one of his. In my opinion, he has an obsessive compulsive mindset. So he was truly transfixed on Abby. As he grows in his magic, that was an obsession for him. That's how he became so powerful. He has this grasp of when he wants something, he does it.
Do you think he was redeemed by his death?
Yeah, absolutely.
By the time of his death, I mean.
Most certainly.
Yeah.
If not above and beyond what he had originally done. Because again, that spell lasted only a very short time. And then trying to be a part of the group and trying to help Daniel and be friends with Abby and be friends with Gresset and really trying to help everybody. I think his death definitely redeemed him.
How did the rest of you feel about losing Josh from the group? And he was the first lead that we killed in Daniel Kravitz.
I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it at all, because I was I didn't talk to you about it, so that's
No.
why I didn't know about it.
I knew he was a one-volume character, basically. Because he was only in Volume 1 a little bit. I knew Volume 2 was his volume, and he wasn't going to make it through.
Yeah.
He was supposed to die a couple episodes later than he did. It just kind of accidentally happened. But now he's back! So he'll get to go into Volume 3 a bit.
I think we know how Gresset feels about
All his Josh
Josh, yeah.
So it's not as deep of a connection with Abby that Gresset has, but I think also Josh sparked in him, again, another interest in humans, this one more of a sexual interest, and I think that also took a heavy blow to him when he realized that Josh didn't survive the battle, and again, brought a little bit more of a vulnerable side to Gresset, but not enough to fully snap him into untamable rage.
Right.
Berserker mode.
But getting pretty close to a berserker mode.
Yeah.
Fortunately, having some buffers to help kind of talk him down.
Now, I'd say where we ended Volume 1, of course, was Regina going totally evil and running off into the distance. Amanda, did the return in Volume 2 live up to what you had hoped to see from her again? Or did you have different ideas about what she might be doing or how she'd re-enter the story?
I think, to me, some of my favorite, whether it was in Volume 1 or Volume 2, favorite parts was when she was with her uncle and like their dynamic and getting to do that. So like so far my favorite scene from volume 2 has been when they were like having kind of their, I don't know, version of a heart-to-heart of like, I'd hate to have to kill you. Yeah. Like, I would kind of care if you died. Like that.
I would kill you, but I'd be sad about it.
Yeah, like, I'd hate to do it. Yeah, and then definitely, like, my favorite part in Volume 1 was getting to, like, go, like, head-to-head with Rufus in, like,
the final battle.
The final battle, yeah, and that.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting. And even, like, the little Christmas thing episode with them, just sort of getting like their background and seeing their development, because I mean her relationship with Daniel was pretty one track. Like I mean there was a duplicitous side, but it was also very one track. Like, you know, it's there's more facets to her relationship with her uncle.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that gives Rufus a lot of his character. Rufus is somebody we've seen suffer through a lot of loss. I mean, that's kind of his defining characteristic at this point.
Yeah.
He obviously had the falling out with his niece at the end of Volume 1. We saw the other chosen ones that he'd lost in the Christmas special in Volume 2. And now his whole way of life, like the people he worked for, the cause he devoted his life for, is gone. What do you think all of that means to Rufus? Which one do you think hurts the most? And where do you think he could go from here?
Well...
Sorry, that's a multi-part question.
I mean, you know... Certainly having your only, as far as we know, only living family member work for your life's purpose of stopping, like, that sucks. You know, like the one thing I asked you not to do.
And you never asked her not to do it.
Well,
you kept that part of your life in.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But,
like you weren't there to raise me as much as you should have been. So.
But yeah, I think that's got to stink. But being betrayed by your one sole purpose, like, I mean, there's his whole life. He's lost 3 chosen ones, and they're trying to kill a 4th and him, and it's like, well, after that, like, what does he have left? You know, that was his whole thing. What does he have left? Yeah.
Where do we go with him in Volume 3?
I don't know. I mean, by this point the finale happened, right?
They will have heard all volumes.
So the ULP is basically done for.
Yes.
Right? And
it's just
know, Alexis and Rufus have kind of talked about maybe trying to start it up again, but at that point, I mean, you've got like what? An armful of books each?
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's all. Yeah, we've got to get our books.
Yes.
Well, that's the Rufus plants the seeds there at the end of Volume 2 that, we're going to do this again, but I'm not going to be in charge.
Right.
And neither is he. And neither is he. We're going to find somebody that we will trust.
So that'll be interesting. Obviously, the ultimate evil's still out there.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're gonna wanna. I'm sure now that the ULP is done, he can accomplish that goal, more or less. Mm-hmm. And that's the only other thing is there's Regina still out there, and the ultimate evil's still out there. So taking them down.
Well, he was very focused on finding Regina until he found out about the ULP being corrupt, and then changed focus to that.
Yeah.
But then Regina came back anyway. Do you think he'd be liable to run off and look for Regina again, or do you think...
I don't think he's going to go down that road again. Mm-hmm. I think he was realized at this point it's too late. There's maybe not any redeeming her at that point.
Yeah.
He might try again next time they meet, but I doubt that it's going to have any effect.
Yeah, he's not going to.
Well, because she firmly believes that her way is right, just as he believed the ULP was right. Well, he was not entirely right there.
So are there redeemable qualities about Regina, being that she was working against an organization that really was as bad as she said it was?
No. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
I feel like there's some complexity there that, yes, she keeps insisting the ultimate evil's not evil. It's just what they called him. And the people that called him that turned out to be evil themselves. So do we really know?
It seems complicated.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like yes, you see good qualities, and then you also are like, well, no, because you're still trying to kill people.
Hitler had good qualities.
We're joined by Nathan Haley, Daniel Craig.
That's the first statement he makes.
We'll talk to you in a minute. So let's let's talk to Joe because we haven't discussed Alexis at all. This was an audition you submitted for Rufus, and I said, "Oh, we're gonna use that audition."
Yeah.
14 episodes later.
Yeah, you were like, hey, we're gonna do this character, but it's gonna be a while, it's gonna happen. And then I think...
It's gonna happen.
Well, I think I told you it was gonna be like 6 months, then it was gonna be 9 months.
And then it got pushed back. You were like, hey, it's getting pushed back. And I was just like, alright, I'm just here. Just tell me what you need to do.
So, were you disappointed that it took the build-up? Did it live up to your expectations?
No, I think it was fine because you had said, like, hey, everyone's gonna kind of hate him, but he's not bad. But he could be bad, but he's not bad.
Right.
I just said, okay, sure. And so I think I like Alexis just because he's there he wants to do good. That's all he's always got good intentions, but it's because Daniel hates him.
I hate him.
They all hate him.
They all hate him.
Except
Rufus, yeah, that's the only person that's like, oh, because he knows Alexis.
I know what you're about. Like,
yeah.
Well, Rufus knew you before.
Right, and that was that a Christmas special, or was that...
Yeah, that was
where we
gathered
met?
around the fire.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, you were both working.
Where everyone else kind of
headquarters.
still saw Alexis as just like, oh, you're just some dumb
Yeah.
kid, like you're never gonna really succeed in this, and then he becomes in this position, and he doesn't do it like Rufus does. He doesn't go into the fights. He just kind of runs away. He's kind of he's there, but he just kind of like, do this. I'm gonna cower over here. So that's, I think, one of the things that people don't like about him. But then everyone still thinks, yeah, as you grow.
Does anybody like Alexis besides Joe?
Regina!
Well, I mean, you guys as people, not necessarily your characters. I think Regina respects them a little
He's a
bit.
verbal punching bag.
I guess, yeah.
Like, I like to yell at Alex.
I guess it's just like, Alex is... I like playing Alex. Alexis, I'm even calling him Alex.
the one time.
Yeah, the one time you're like, Alex.
In rehearsal, like, oh. Whoops.
I think I don't mind him as much. Like, he's supposed to be annoying, but because I know you're basing him on Alexis Denisov's character from Buffy.
Correct.
Yeah, like, I know he's not going to be...
annoying forever.
Yeah, like there's
Because that's what you had told me, and I was like, I don't watch Buffy, but okay.
Well, I think I told Joe, let's make everybody hate him as much as we possibly can without making him irredeemable. So, what do you think he might be up to in Volume 3?
I think he's just going to honestly help Rufus try and rebuild.
You think he will? Because none of them seem to want him around.
I mean, I think
now
he's going
there's no reason they have to tolerate his
That's
presence.
true. I think he's going to try, though.
Okay.
Because he was very indebted to the UOP until he found out that, they're doing terrible things. And so I think he's going to try his best. And I don't know. I don't know if he'll be able to tolerate everybody else's intolerable feelings towards him. I don't know.
I think a snap is coming at some point.
I kind of hope so.
I like Alexis personally because it adds conflict. Everybody got too comfortable. Regina was conflict, but she went off. And everybody's getting too comfortable with one another. So to put Alexis in here gives us that opportunity for people to clash and to focus their hate.
Actually,
somewhere.
that gives Grezit and Daniel a little bit more of a leverage to kind of
Bond.
Yeah.
Daniel and Grezit have become quite buddy-buddy in Volume 2.
There are rewrites that we can do.
not now. It's too late. So let's talk to Nathan.
Okay.
Daniel Kravitz, how did you approach the character?
He runs a store that he hates. Got it. He has a best friend that he finds annoying, but loves at the same time. Got it.
It seems to be dawning to Yohe for the first time that Nathan is Daniel.
I didn't even think that.
So what I like to do when I write characters for Nathan, and this was written for Nathan, he did not audition, was let's take parts about his life he doesn't like and then make them even worse.
I'm surprised.
So instead of a pizza shop, it's
Somehow
antiques. Instead of playing soccer, it's volleyball.
As the scripts come out, and I actually read them now.
No, you don't.
I know.
He did this one.
No, ever since the end of the first year, everybody got so good. I'm like, I'm gonna have to bump it up now. Everybody's really good, and I suck. I noticed like Daniel wants to do good, and it seems like because at first it's like no, this chosen one thing. No, he doesn't want it because he doesn't know what he wants. He just knows that he hates where he's at now. But I feel with what has happened in his life, with all his rejection, with all the death. I mean, he doesn't mean no parents. Was he raised in a foster? This we haven't. I'm sure we'll get into at some point his actual past. but he doesn't take new things lightly. He doesn't seem to like new things, but he's finally understanding that he has a purpose, and he's actually seems to be like not only embracing it, but like looking forward to it.
I think you're right. I think he's finding his purpose.
But like the bringing on of Alexis is just, he's like, he's just getting used to Rufus. Now there's just another British beehole that thinks that like he wants to take, I'm just getting used to Rufus, and now it's like this new guy, and it's like, no, like, and I can't stand like people that I can't read, and since he's kind of hard to read, it's like, no, if he's supposed to be good, I'm not going to believe it with everything's going. I can't trust him because, I thought I could trust Abby. She leaves me. I thought I could trust Regina. It's like all the women in this are bitches. But he just seems to be somebody that, like, once you get on his good side, if you betray me, it's just like that, like, fool me once, shame on me, fool me, that sort of thing. But with him, it seems like it's so hard. Like, he's just now getting back to accepting Abby again after what she has done, and so.
So I took a little trip.
You did it without telling him, I think, was the problem.
But,
Of course, had you told him, he wouldn't have let you go. So.
Right.
The nuance of not hidden powers, but like the powers that he doesn't know that he has is like, oh, well, like the teleporting thing, which I thought was really. It's like, okay, who can teleport somebody? I can.
Did anybody else remember that he teleported in Volume 1?
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't remember that at all.
I didn't remember. That thing. Oh yeah, whatever. Anyways,
I only remember because I had to do the sound effect for it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have.
Because that's why after it happened, I was like, as we were reading, I'm like, when did this happen? Oh shoot, when did this happen? And I didn't remember.
It happened in a moment of extreme emotion for him, and he didn't understand what it was, and nobody was there to. I mean, Regina was there, but none of her friends were there to comment on it. So he just forgot.
Wasn't Resin there?
No, it was just he and Regina. Because it wasn't at the end of the episode where they're at the hotel.
They were at the hotel, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, something.
And they fought Fizzy Bibby.
He found out Regina was evil.
Yeah.
It's about 3 episodes before the end of the season.
No, I meant right at the end of the episode.
Yeah, it is. It is right at the end. And now you apparently have a stun wave. You can knock down a whole room of people.
Yes, I do, and I totally remembered that.
That was like last month.
Yes, it was.
And he remembered.
I'm just really brilliant, and there's just so many things to remember that I can do that the other plebeians just can't. It's just hard.
So Daniel seems to have some powers that most chosen ones do not have.
Yeah, like ancient powers that haven't.
And that's another thing.
Come out
I would
for a while.
love to see like an episode where there's like a book where like he can. Because I know there was there.
No.
You were laughing.
I was
like,
like, an antique shop is probably there.
Yeah.
The book's probably right there.
I'm wondering.
Well, it's probably the books that you guys took out of
Exactly,
the
it's all the
ULP.
books we have.
Because I know
Right.
we've had the episode, where Kristen scored the wonderful music on like past chosen ones that have like been done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like what did they do? Does Daniel have a power to like read about powers and learn how to? I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because I think it was Regina that first said, "Oh, he did the disappearing retreat," and I think it was even Rufus or Alexis who was like, "That's just a myth." Like, okay, so here's a dude who's trained 3 and is like, it's just a myth that doesn't really exist. Like, wow.
So the question is, could other chosen ones do it and you never unlocked it?
Right.
Or is he special?
Well, one of my parents like, oh.
I just assume none of them lived long enough to unlock anything.
Yeah, I mean, a lot.
It could be
Certainly
like
the ones.
like dad.
Rufus went through 3 in 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
Nope.
So, and I don't think that was that unusual. Like, it was very. That we've established that most chosen ones don't live more than a couple of years.
Yeah.
So Daniel's already like hit where most chosen ones would be dead by
I
now.
have a feeling I'm going to fall out of a castle.
So do you think we're gonna have to find a new chosen one midway through Volume 3?
I think it's just going to happen. I think everything's going to be going for him, and then something's going to happen. He's just going to fall out of a castle.
I mean,
Castle
Abby
in the
pulled
sky.
it off pretty well.
She did. The one Josh made her think she was the chosen one. That was pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
that's one of my favorites.
That's a great episode.
Oh my gosh.
And that theme
I love
song.
that episode.
I mean, that was the best the theme song's ever sounded.
It really. I mean, you should
fine,
really go
because
back
I
and
wrote
listen.
it.
Talk about the theme song. What was your thinking that you got to write your own theme song?
Well, I had 30 minutes, and I was like, what can I BS out? Got it. This.
If you had 30 minutes, how's the theme song 30 minutes long?
I'm that
I'm
good.
just kidding.
Cut and paste, right, let's go. No,
No, it's fine.
well, I sat down with Jimmy, and we had talked about, like, what I like it to sound like. And you were talking about sort of like a Western feel, so which is hard. Yeah, which is hard. It's kind of a genre that I'm not very well at writing. So it was a challenge, basically just to get the A. It wasn't, anything after the first probably 16 measures. It just started to come along, but that beginning was probably the hardest, because how do you tell someone's story in such a short period of time? But I think at some point, I'm wondering if Daniel is going to take Grezit for granted to the point where, I'm wondering if Grezit will just be like, you know what, if he's not going to be accepting, maybe I should, but I don't know if it's in his nature to do that. I don't know if it's like...
I think you started to accept him. I think you started to make him feel accepted.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to...
Yeah.
Daniel is mean to the people he likes, but he isn't... But he isn't... I feel like he has ways he shows his affection without being nice to them.
Yeah.
And I feel like Grezit started to get that.
Qualities.
I feel like Rufus is in with him. Abby's in with him. Josh got in with him quicker than anybody.
Rufus is the one I've noticed the most, as far as especially lines after his, or my lines toward him, or almost. I've been defending him more than anything. So
I think you've got a lot of respect for him. But I think Grezit's another part of your personality that appeals to you. That sometimes you wish you could
His
just go
fight scenes
berserker.
are my favorite. I love his fight scenes. Now I'm in them with him, but when he's fighting stuff on his own, that's one of my favorite parts. Is just imagining just the thrashing of this. What are you, 3 feet now?
He's chin high.
Yeah. My chin or
he's a good 5.
Sorry, his chin is like a head above my chin.
4 feet, is he 6 feet?
We've just said chin high. He's almost. It's taken him 2 volumes to regain his height. He's almost there.
What I am surprised about with Grezit is that nobody, and when he's pissed anyone off, nobody's resorted to whistling.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't think your friends would do that to you, though.
Oh my God, I will now.
At this point.
And by that I mean mostly Daniel. I'm surprised he hasn't just done a quick little 1-2 second whistle note to
The problem with the episodes is where everything's so tense and there's danger that has to be addressed, so he's not going to do that then, but I bet when they're hanging out he does. So, as we get closer to wrapping up, what was better, Volume 1 or 2, and why?
Volume 1 for me.
Okay, why?
I love the beginning of stories. I love to see how everything plays out, and my first 2 episodes, for me personally, my first 2 episodes were the best I've done on Daniel. And just the Abby's where did you get that axe? We're I don't know. That's still my favorite. That's still my favorite line. I loved season 1, volume 1.
Mm-hmm.
Take 3, 2, 1. Volume 1 of Daniel Kravitz the most.
Okay.
I would say, and this is strictly from, I don't even necessarily say it's a content standpoint, from the fact that we perform live, I feel like Volume 1 was more physical actions, and the actors and actresses were actually being way more physical. And granted, probably the audio quality might have suffered a tiny bit.
Yeah, I think we've tried to pull it back on purpose.
Mics left and right.
Yeah.
But I think it brought a dimension to the storytelling that I really, really, really enjoyed. Volume 2's content has definitely been top notch as well. But I think for me, Volume 1 just kind of appeals to me more of a sentimental value.
I'm just going to be conceited and say Volume 2 because I'm... No, I do like Volume 1 because I'm like Nathan, I really like origin stories too. So even I think it was the start of Volume 2 where there was even... When was the Christmas special? Was
the Gather Around the Fire? Or the musical? The Gather Around the Fire was the beginning of Volume 2.
You see, and I like that because again, it's an origin story, and I think that's always the start of it that always entices me because at least that sets up everything else and makes everything else make sense.
Yeah, the Gather Around the Fire was backstory on Rufus, but it also was supposed to set up Volume 2 by revealing the ULB and who they were and what they did to him.
Right. So I'm Volume 2 because of me, but I like Volume 1 overall.
I mean, what other people said. Volume 1, I agree. I think the performance quality was better. It just in a way that we didn't feel as locked into the mics, and I feel like as an actor, it is easier to act with people and be able to like look at them. It makes a totally different acting connection than just staring straight forward.
I would say season 2 because I got a little break in there. No, but season 2, like, because there was a lot more stuff. Everyone had kind of grown into their characters by that point, and so it was settling into like all these new things are being thrown at them. Mm-hmm. So it's the characters themselves kind of, you know, at least the 3-4 main kind of people just from the start had all like, okay, we've got this rapport, and now there's Josh and there's Alexis and Regina's here and everything's like, whoa, it's like messing the dynamic up and trying to explore that.
I would say 2, because unlike everybody else, I hate the beginning of something. I like getting into the meat. I like to get in it.
Yeah.
You know, so for me it was like I just really enjoyed the story quality, and I felt that because of the turmoil and because of how everything was being played, that it gave, in like my opinion, like much more meatiness to it.
I really agree with you. I think the second volume was my favorite, and I'm gonna take. Oh, that's you're such a jerk.
Because you took a break, like Shane.
Yeah. No.
Wendy's break was paternity leave.
Right. Yeah.
Abby had a baby. Well, I mean, Abby didn't, but Wendy did.
Right. No, but I really liked the second volume because Abby kind of gained an attitude. It felt like she grew some balls. Like I started speaking back and I was a little mean. It was really fun to play.
Oh,
in the
good.
beginning, I feel like I was really goody.
Yeah,
and I was really nice all the time. And it's like, oh, I love you, cousin. Oh, Nathan, be my boyfriend.
Well, now you're going from goody to stabby.
I know. It's kind of exciting. It's fun to play.
Yeah, I personally like Volume 2 better because Volume 1, I felt like it took so long to figure out what the segment was. We had the Regina plot, but it was a lot of Monster of the Week in Volume 1 and trying to figure out where it went. Whereas Volume 2, there was a more defined arc, but still written like piece by piece. It was not, the end was not planned from the beginning. So Volume 3, what we're going to do a little better is we're going to take a nice big hiatus and spend 6 months figuring out what Volume 3 is before we start performing it, so that we're not just jumping in as the story gains complexity.
Volume 1 kind of felt like Supernatural's first season. I don't know if anybody watches Supernatural, but like they introduce all of these different monsters and like ways to kill them, so it felt like that's the way the first volume was for Daniel Kravitz. We had all these different monsters and different weapons.
Kind of like Buffy Season 1. So last thing is, what do you guys want to see from Volume 3?
I want to see if Josh is really alive. Is that really Josh? Because he doesn't know how to do his magic anymore. What's up with that?
Well, it's like Heroes when that guy went into the thing and all of a sudden everything he knew was gone.
I know if that's really Josh. Seamus knows if that's really Josh. The rest of you don't need to know, unless you already do.
Don't need to.
No, I don't.
Well, shit, now I don't know if I can say what I was going to say. I would, honestly, one of my favorite things in fantasy genres is just magic. I love magic, and even from just day one, I want to see more magic. I want to see more of Daniel's magic. I want to see other people's magic. I want to see, kind of like how even Buffy did. Like at the beginning there wasn't any magic, but then slowly as you build through the seasons, more and more, and then more and more epic magic starts happening, and that's what I would love to see. I would love to start seeing more and more epic magic.
Yeah, I would say, I have a feeling that Abby's going to go dark side.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. I'm like, what if I find a book of magic and start doing some stuff?
Between everything that she like,
look at Jim's face, and you will know the answer. Not for the audio.
She, because
I'm drinking water.
She had the gun in the one episode, and even though you didn't really know how to use it,
that was one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah. I think there was a little treat for the audience. Just interacting with Regina kind of like sharpened your edge, and I think now you're like, now that the ULP's gone, I think you're gonna. Whereas Alexis and Rufus might be like, well, we need to be smart about this. Like, Abby's going to be the one person who's like, no, we need to go kill Callie. Like, let's just do it. Like, oh, okay. So that's kind of where I think it's going to go.
I selfishly would like to see what happens with Regina next after she poofs away.
I mean, the fact that we didn't kill her implies we'll see her again.
See her again eventually someday.
Drink your water.
But I want to see character development with Alexis and like what happens with his character and kind of like what goes on there.
Oh, me too.
Same. No, I do. I want to see, at least, yeah, selfishly, I want to see Alexis, where he's going to go from how it ended in Volume 2. Is he going to snap? Is he just going to try and keep his composure? Mm-hmm. I also want to see Abby snap. I do. I want to see it happen. Snap. Yeah.
Stabby.
I feel like Alexis rolled with everything that happened a little better than us.
Yeah, I think because he just kind of rolls with the
He
punches.
didn't
and I feel
have the personal investment too.
Well, and I also feel like that's just how he always just kind of rolls with it, because it seems like he was always looked down upon.
Yeah.
I want to see his daughter. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot I had a daughter. That's probably something not to forget.
I think Abby,
I did not forget.
I think Abby needs to get with Alexis and like steal some secrets, and then I can turn evil.
I'm going to kind of piggyback on a few different ideas that have been spouted out. Dark Abbey, I want to see, and a large part kind of selfish-wise, I want to see what that means for Grezit. Because when Abby's
Maybe
in
you'll
danger,
go dark again too.
and if she were to find herself at odds with Daniel, does that mean Grezit takes odds as well?
Right.
And
Daniel will have to come after us.
we haven't seen Untamed Grezit in a pretty long
You
time.
haven't seen Untamed Daniel.
So I'd love to see that dynamic of when our team is not so nice.
Oh yeah, if she goes rogue, like I have no doubt that you just bounce with her.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Like,
Unless you like
I've
Resident
thought that like
Rose
you would,
before
Right.
Oath.
right. Like I've always thought that if you go bad, I think that he's leveled enough onto the good side that he would stay with Daniel.
I don't think so.
To see that kind of a change in Abby from this nice, sweet person that he fell in love with, you know, as his best friend, and now all of a sudden you're stabbing people, you're doing evil
Or
things.
devil's advocate, did he always see the darkness in her?
Oh.
Or does Abby betray Grezit?
No.
Or
Oh my god.
I feel like you did tell me what's gonna happen, kind of, but I forget.
Or he
I'm the
goes
one
with
person you
her.
can tell things to, because I will
Nick and I
forget.
have had some preliminary discussions, but nothing set in stone.
Yeah.
Maybe the only reason you go with her and you appear to revert back to your evil form is because you're going along with her to keep her safe because you and Daniel have agreed that that's the best thing.
Ooh.
Those are all possibilities.
I like
Let's
that.
give Nathan the last word. What do you want to see, and any comments on the segment as a whole?
I know I'm interested to see what happens with Abby. Obviously, yeah, she's going to get darker and darker and more evil. I understand, but just how Daniel handles it, because obviously as much as Daniel's been hurt and how with the trust issues, I'm just wondering if it's going to make him just snap. He's had his fights and he's done things that he doesn't know, but he's had one episode where Abby was in danger, and it's the episode where he was the most vulnerable. So I'm wondering if there's just going to be a point where Daniel, when he figures that, if Abby, a betrayal from Abby, it's only one or two things, and I'm not the one that has to write it, so there's no pressure. It's either going to be, it breaks Daniel to the point where he doesn't do the chosen thing anymore, or it just sends him into a psychotic spiral that nobody is going to get him out. So I'm
And
wondering.
you just like go on a rampage?
I don't know.
Oh.
I know that. If she is the one that he trusts the most, and she's the one that he rely on. Her leaving once almost killed him before, and now it's like, well, what if it happened again? Or if it came down to I don't want to say Harry Potter and Voldemort, but as far as a duel between two like a very evil, a big evil versus a big. Like, what if she wants to have a battle? Like, do I fight her? Because by the time that happens, it's going to probably be toward the end of season 3, and I'm awesome, so I'm going to have like 8 new powers. So it's like, well, am I going to react? Is she going to do something to set me off? And then, one day, maybe will I try to kill her? And that's what's throwing me off. But I definitely want to see what happens with Grezza as far as like him going from a child to an adult. That'd be kind of funny to see if there's like any like funny things with that. Like is he just growing and that's all? Like he is the same 80 or 50? How old are you? However, what?
Yes.
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 However, like does that change?
I don't know how old he is. No, it isn't.
I don't know, but and then like Regina coming, because she gets stronger every time she comes back. We find more things with her as she comes back. Alexa, it's like, all right. I feel though it'd be interesting if he could get Daniel on his side. Would it be like one of those? I don't know. I think it's called domino effect. But like when you get like the leader on your side, everyone else will follow. And then if he turns out to do something wrong, then the whole will be just completely snap and just.
I don't know. Questions that will be answered
In the future.
in the
He drinks
future.
his water.
In the live show in 2019 and the podcast in 2020. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's All Been Done Radio, our number 185. Story Roundtable number 3, Daniel Kravitz Chosen One, Volume 1 and 2, was hosted by Jerome Wetzel with the cast of Daniel Kravitz Chosen One. Please check out our website, it's allbeendoneradio.com, and support us at patreon.com/IABD. Have a good week. It's All Been Done presents.
Who's got the time?